John, that was not okay. I told you how I felt, and you totally disrespected my emotions. You turned your back on me, and you went to the Philadelphia convention without me. Am I even your friend? Wait, first of all, why was there a convention in the first place? I thought that you would at least tell me the truth, but now I just realized that I'm not even your friend. You didn't even want me there.
Well, I just felt like if you hadn't been so rude, I wouldn't have to go out like that. You have to control yourself. How can the National Judiciary be comprised of members of the jury?
Well, unlike you, I don't try to speak for others. See, I try to seek others' opinions before I impose mine on them. To exclude a jury from the Supreme Court is not right. Without the jury, too much power will be handed to the members of the court, which would already be comprised of self-centered brats.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. I mean, be honest with me. What good would that do for the rest of the country if men like you held the most power? The aristocrats would be the only people to run for this office, and middle-class men would not be able to compete with the amount of money and publicity that the aristocrats get. Men like you.
Men like me? You're one of us. Just accept it.
Really? No. My job does not automatically make me some type of classist or something. Like, if anything, I'm the opposite. I try to get as much publicity and media influence as I can to provide power to the people, the citizens of everyday life, of every state, with the power that they need to live out happy, liberal lives. I've kept my integrity this whole time, John.
I'm done with this. I'm done.
Fine.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Like, no one understands me. Like, I'm not even as mad about that as I am of the fact that all the power of the state governments would go to the national judiciary. It should definitely be localized. How can one set of rules jurisdict every state? We're all so different. In Virginia, it didn't matter what social status you were. The judges would handle each case the same way, and they weren't afraid to use their power.
Why does Patrick have to be so emotional? I like the federalist government because it's created to have checks and balances. He just doesn't understand. He's so skeptical about this whole process, and it's different for him to change.
So, do you think he has a point?
I mean, I guess.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. What else can you do? It's not like I can stop someone from running for president. Just stop recording.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hi.
So Alex, I heard you're like a federalist. Is that true?
Yeah, but just don't tell anyone, okay?
You're hanging out with those psycho-federalists? Did you know that they have a president for 4 years and they can run for re-election? You must be out of your mind to think that that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Okay, you wanna know why I like it? This idea is original enough that it looks like our government has planned elaborately, but it's still ruled by one man who knows his stuff, okay? Who has enough knowledge and can make clear decisions. You saw what happened in Virginia. Those poor investors basically gave away their entire money to those farmers who got away clean slate. Just no punishment. It was certainly not to be repeated, okay? Because too much democracy can be a bad thing, okay? The Debtors' laws were a disaster, and our government will turn into one big joke if we continue to live like that.
Well, having one ruler isn't such a hot idea either.
Exactly. The president would have enough knowledge about the world to make his own decisions. This means that we would no longer have a figurehead, which also means that the president is not stupid enough to create his own legacy. One, the president, like in a monarchy, would take over the advantage of having his own power. He would only pass laws that work in his favor. What would that do to simple folk like us, you might ask? Well, these laws would only levy the taxes on middle class, while the aristocrats, like them, would get away clean slate. How would that feel? On top of that, the president would use that power to advocate for his people, perhaps adhere to their throne. I can't remember a time when a man would give up his legacy to someone just for a change of perspective of his citizens.
You are totally overthinking this. Like, how did someone even come up with such a plan like that?
Someone who holds that much power, that's who. Like, who do you think? The president's cabinet? What were you guys thinking? You might as well just explicitly say the president's minions. The president would not want to be criticized while he carries out his executive duties. He will only appoint people who think like him and worship him for however long he holds the balance of the country in his hands.
True.
In my opinion, I believe this type of authority should be handed to the states, since one person having so much power is just all around dangerous.
True.
the state representatives would be close to the people, hear their suggestions, and actually work on a problem to solve it.
Exactly.
Rather than have the upperclassman president who knows nothing about their daily life, just take one look at their proposal and turn it down just to be.
Well,
Exactly.
if we wanted your opinion while we were drafting the Constitution, we would have asked you to join us.
Well, you should have, because what you drafted is irrelevant. Completely. This is useless and you know it. Did he even understand what we were saying? Like, what was the deal? He just totally cut us off. I just do not understand. What does he think is going to happen once the president gains the power of the entire nation? Don't even get me started on the whole Congress issue. Like, what even?
Yeah, totally. Spill the details. What's up with the whole Congress issue?
Oh, did you not hear? They're planning to hold re-election for Congress, too. And not only that, there's only one representative for every 30,000 people. Like, might as well make only one representative for the whole population of the U.S.
No.
Yeah, I kid you not, Martin. This is real stuff happening. This is like removing democracy from the U.S. Like removing the annual election. How are the reps supposed to hear what people want if they aren't with the people? I just do not understand that.
And to top it all off, we basically have no representation. Our own people won't have a voice in government. The best form of government to me is one in which the people represent themselves in town meetings. You know, just simple sort of stuff.
Well, that's kind of hard to do, you know? Maybe we could just have representation for an individual as possible for voicing our opinions to the government. I feel like only through upper class citizens would be able to run for office create such a void in the middle class, right? We're represented by the people who are higher than us on a social scale, so we don't get our voices to be heard.
Well, you know, I heard George Mason talk about this stuff as well, and at first I didn't understand the context, but he was basically talking about the responsibilities of a representative, and I think he's right on. The representatives should come to us and interact with us on a casual level,
Yeah,
so they can hear our concerns and see our lives in action. Without this connect, the people won't have an actual voice.
It's so true.
But I don't
Hey John, do you mind passing me my book over there?
Sure.
What was that for?
I'm fine.
No, you're not. What's wrong?
I just think it's kind of funny how you think the stronger statewide republic is better for the country than a strong national government.
What?
You heard me.
How could you think anything otherwise? If we make people live under such a strong national government, they're never going to truly have their voices heard, meaning they're never going to get what they want. Those in power aren't going to be just normal people. So they won't actually know what normal people want, nor do they care, honestly.
Are you kidding me? If we have statewide republics that get as much power as you're proposing, the people will get too much power and
what, actually enjoy their life? Honestly, a national republic is one step away from just another monarchy. Is that what you want, another England?
shut up, Jefferson! It's not like anyone cares what you think anyways.
Yeah, it's not like I wrote the Declaration of Independence or anything.
Dude, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Like, are you actually kidding me?
What are you talking about?
I'm just a little confused as to why you would come up with something like that behind my back.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you sure? I
Yeah.
mean, what about the Philadelphia convention last month that I just wasn't invited to?
Oh, you weren't supposed to know about that.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't, because why would you tell me anything anyway? I mean, what is this checks and balances idea you came up with? Like, what is up with that? You know it would never work. Why would you make it?
Come on, you're just judging this based off your bias. Give it some time.
Give it some time? James, I can...
Listen, George, blended powers are a good thing, okay? This will help the checks and balances, and it will benefit the government.
That is just not true. Blended powers are not good. Remember what they said at the Virginia Convention? That no country ever did or even could remain free as long as the executive, judiciary, and or legislative branches were blended? A mixture of the executive and legislative branches could absolutely lead to government corruption.
Okay, George, that's your problem.
Okay, honestly, I don't have a problem. The only problem is with your policy. It fixes nothing. The president and the Senate are just partners in crime, okay? Blended powers does not necessarily mean freedom. Two powers will be blended until they believe the same things, come up with the same laws that only benefit themselves. There needs to be a separation of power with your whole checks and balances thing to work, okay?
Why? What's the problem? Each section gets equal power.
No, they don't. You guys drafted the Constitution knowing that the legislative branch could control aspects of the other branches. So their power feeds into the other branches. Don't act like an ignorant fool.
Okay, to top it all off, the minority will force the majority to give into their interests because without them, the vote would not pass. Any vote would not pass. This is just not compatible with the democracy that we are so willing to create. At its worst, the system can result in a stalemate among the three branches, and no work will actually be done to support the citizens. This creates so much hassle because the Constitution reads so loosely. I demand a stricter interpretation because I just know that one day the Constitution will be taken lightly and somehow the government will get more power than any of us would ever have wanted it to. Just because the combination of these powers was not designated as strictly as it should have been.
Okay, whatever.
Fine.